Hi, guys. How's everybody's Wednesday? Huh? How's it going? Man, there's nobody here. And last week's video did not do anything. I hope some of my regulars show up so I can whine to them about how no one else watched it, because I assume they did. Whoops, sorry. I'll try not to kick the table. Get a great shot of my blemish. Cheers. Here's to, acne at 40. So yeah, this week we had Andrew Tate on the show. Well, I love saying that as if he were actually here. Because it amuses me. I think this was one of my best videos. I do. I genuinely do. I don't usually say that. I'm not one of those. What up, Scott? How you doing? What'd you think of it? There I am. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I got on at noon. Noon my time, obviously. Thank you for, being solid and showing up so early in the morning for you. I don't know why. Like, last week's video did absolutely nothing, man. Like, Right, yeah, thank you. My husband's so funny. He thought that he didn't realize I had added the stuff. He didn't realize I had added the stuff. The Tyler Durden stuff. I was like, yeah, I made that connection myself. No, I know, and the premiere is even earlier, so thank you so much for hanging out, being a mensch and showing up for me. Cause like no one else was there. I mean, Hubs was there, Red Blairin was there. Like, credit where credit is due, but like, where is everybody? I'm sad. I'm really excited about this week's video. I'm really jazzed about it. I genuinely am. I think it's some of my best work because I don't know. I tried out a couple new things. I changed up the intro mainly to amuse myself because I'm bored of sitting through the little. Like, we all love the little witch hat strings and everything, but like, if I'm bored with it, I don't know. I just didn't want to do it, so I did something goofy instead. Nobody's ever called me on the hi, everybody, so I just went ahead and did it. And I make myself laugh every time I watch it, so. So are you just an early bird? Are you just a morning person? Or are you just a kind of guy who's up in the morning? But like, yeah, I actually was funny story. I was actually put onto the Andrew Tate, I can't not think of it as Project Muslim Mayhem now. I can't not see it that way. But I was put onto that angle actually by Wisecrack talking about Jordan Peterson doing the same thing, basically. The Wisecrack dude was like, Jordan Peterson is just using Christianity to legitimize his own brand of reactionary conservatism. I'm like, yes! That's one of the things it's for! Like, our kitty cat gets us home at 5:30. Wants us to take care of her breakfast. Oh, wow. My cat's fed first thing in the morning, too, but I have to get my kid off to school, so they get to wait until like 8. Yeah, speaking of which, say hi to Juniper. Speak of the devil, eh? But so, yeah, I don't know. The idea that Jordan Peterson is doing that, yes, he is. Using Christianity to legitimize his own brand of reactionary conservatism. That's exactly what Jordan Peterson is doing. And I just thought, surely I could find a more relevant example of that. Surely I can find, someone who is someone who my audience gives a rat's ass about, quite frankly. Because I think Jordan Peterson is a fascinating case study in like mental illness, but that's me, you know. I understand that for a lot of other, you know, particularly feminists, I don't think he's especially relevant, you know. What up, Susie? How's it going? Great video. Thank you. Tate is an absolute moron. Sorry to use such plain. I call him an asshole at least twice because I could not help myself. Okay. Like the bit where he's like, war is just about controlling ideas. I'm like, oh my God, this is one of the most offensive things I've ever heard. And I'm kind of anti-military, but like, dude, people die. Okay. Like, what the fuck? That made me angry. And, you know, among other things, obviously, that actually stuck out to me as something that surely anyone could see as offensively like offensively simplistic, right? I don't want to do the TikTok hands. Apparently, that's a thing they do. I don't know. I'm never on there. So, like, I literally do not have one. So if that's a thing on TikTok, I must have picked it up somewhere else. I don't know. Actually, I try not to do that because in Arabic, I know, speaking of Arabs, I have Arab relatives, and I know that that is actually an obscene gesture in Arabic. So at least I was taught that by my cousins as a kid. So I actually try not to do the finger thing, the fingers together thing. But yeah, not only Tate is a moron, and if he weren't so, you know, famous and whatever, then that wouldn't be such an issue, would it? But I was just saying a minute ago, I actually got put onto this. Has he never heard that transgenderism is extremely popular and non-optional in Iran, Pakistan, and other Muslim countries? The original transing the gay away. Right. Well, how in the hell does he think those societies, you know, maintain themselves so effectively? It's not through faith, is it? No. You know, it's funny what you can accomplish when you just execute everybody who disagrees with you. Because God says you should. There, I did it again. Because God says you should. You know, when you have God on your side, you can do anything. Which is what's so scary about that shit, right? And the idea, like, it's okay. And to go back to the Fight Club analogy, this is the part where he starts recruiting people and forming a cult, right? It's space monkey time, right? Like, this is scary shit, and I'm laughing about it because it sounds insane. And I love how he kept referencing them. He I cut down that interview by like a third because I always, you know, everybody when we talk, we have, you know, our little digressions we want to make, our little anecdotes we want to give, and whatever, our little asides that we have. But yeah, I just cut all that shit out, and really, you know, before I got to respond to somebody, I cut all that shit out, and you know, just bring them like, what you're trying to say? What is your point? And we'll start there. Okay. And so some stuff always gets left on the cutting room floor. Gosh, what was I getting at? Oh, I'm so tired. But I wanted to say that he makes that argument that without religion there is no morality, basically. I cut out the part of him explicitly saying that, and I feel like that's an obviously fallacious argument that anyone who is given this kind of stuff any amount of real thought understands that no, it's kind of the other way around. Like, not to speak to the existence of God or anything, but like your conscience is what gives you your morality, and all of that mythology is like an outpouring, an outgrowth of our sense of connectedness to one another and like the world we live in. And the only reason I can think that you would need fear of God or respect for God or whatever the fuck you're talking about is because you don't have a conscience. So, I mean, he's obviously some kind of sociopath, some kind of psycho. Like, how the fuck? Allegedly. He's not allegedly a psycho. Like, he is a psycho. I say that just based on the stuff that he says in front of a camera. But allegedly, the stuff he's being accused of is monstrous, right? So, and now we're going to bring God into it. That's a bad idea. That's a terrible idea. That's a frightening idea, since apparently he has, like, not only his own personal wizard. Does the wizard still work for him? Is the wizard haram? I really want to know. I feel like sorcery is haram, right? So all that neuro-linguistic programming and all that shit's gonna have to stop, right? Right? Not to mention alcohol consumption. Which, like, there's a minor point, a seemingly minor point, a comparatively minor point where Christianity and Islam do differ. I'm pretty, like, Christianity makes alcohol consumption mandatory in certain sects. Not only is it not Christian to drink a wine, it is mandatory to drink wine. I can't understand how otherwise sensible people have such a blind spot when it comes to Tate. He's on camera admitting to coercing. Right. Okay, the West adopting the policies of theocratic fascists towards the gay problem as progressive is totally bizarre. Right. Thank you. I do not see it. I can't understand how otherwise sensible people have such a blind spot when it comes to Tate. He's on camera admitting to coercing his girlfriends into prostitution. Yes. Yeah. It says admiring to. That's funny. I read it as admitting to. Yeah. Yeah. So I say allegedly because he hasn't been, convicted of anything as far as I know, but allegedly. Do you have to say that when someone has openly admitted to such things? My recollection is that was one of the reasons he got in trouble in the first place, is because he was bragging about how he had got this girl to come to the UK from Hungary or somewhere to, be his girlfriend and to be a cam girl. And it turned out that she lied to him about how old she was. I want to say. But, that was several years ago before I was really paying any attention to him. But, like, he seems to be, startlingly earnest about the God thing, but, like, on a materialist basis, which is funny. Like I say in the video, they're like, yeah, there's all that spiritual shit. He says, there's imams and there's Allah and there's Muhammad, peace be upon him, and all that. But then there's this way that you can look at it and see in the world how it holds the society together. I'm like, you're actually arguing for a religion on a materialist basis? Like, he's making a cultural argument, right? I'm not going to do the hand thing anymore. I'm so annoyed with myself now that I've thought about it. I can't stop doing it. But yeah, he's making a cultural argument. And culturally in the West, we do have a spiritual vacuum. He talks about it being a power vacuum because I think that's probably how he understands everything. Because again, I don't think that man has a heart. I don't think he does. I don't want to use any, psychological terms because I don't want to get sued. But I don't think that man has a conscience. I don't think he has an inner voice that, makes him feel guilty for any of the shit that he does. I don't think he has that. And I don't think it's, going out on a limb to suggest that either. If there's such a thing as toxic masculinity, he is the poster boy. Yeah, I think, like, he is the embodiment of the cultural decline of the West, right? Like, he is the living embodiment of it. Of that spiritual deficit, of that, like, fact that we, like I say, we assume extreme materialism, quite frankly. And I do, materialism saved me, okay? And I will talk about the material world as being absolutely vital, literally. It's the watering hole that we all have to return to, right? Because that's, if all, your grand ideas are applicable to nothing, then what in the hell are you doing? What is the point, right? Then I firmly believe that. However, You can't. Everyone is not an atheist. Everyone is not going to be an atheist. That's just, something that we in the West have absolutely no answer for. Yeah, they will. Yeah, it's just the only thing that makes any sense. It's the only thing you say. Look at it. It's like, oh my god. Likely a clinical psychopath. They're right. I don't disagree with you. Likely, allegedly. I don't want to get sued. I don't want to get in trouble because, well, apparently he has many acolytes who like to, go around and mess with people. So I just don't need that shit. He's a nutcase. He is a raging nutcase. There's clearly something broken in that man's brain. I will say that. Just from what he has said. Just from, not even the criminal stuff. Just the social, cultural comments that he makes. Sitting there being like, yeah, I don't know why Christians don't just convert to Islam already. Gee, I don't know. It's almost like those two things aren't interchangeable or something. He also said he would rather go to bed with a man that looked like Blair White than a woman who looked like the Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is also a man, strangely enough. So, great creativity there, Andy. So he's definitely got some gampishness. Gamp. Oh, what does that one mean? Gay something, right? I mean, if you're going to suggest to me that he is somehow desperately suppressing whatever homosexual impulses he himself possesses, yeah. That would explain a couple of things, wouldn't it? Brooke Hogan would be too feminine for him. Right, yeah. I read him. You're right, yeah. I'm sorry, but the lady doth protest too much, right? Gentleman. I'll give him that. He's a he's a dude. He's definitely a dude. And he wants all the world to know it. But, if you want to get clinical and deep for a second, maybe lacking that conscience, that sense of connectedness to the people around you and the world and stuff on an emotional level, maybe that leaves you with less to do mentally, which we all know how insecurities only grow with rumination, right? The more you obsess over something, the more insecure you become about it. And if you have nothing else to do, well, you can see how that could snowball fast. And it's funny because he's just a little bit younger than me. So the Fight Club reference, I think, was pretty spot on. You know that? I do. And that's what I was going to say a minute ago. It made me laugh because he references left several things out. Most of his references to the Matrix I left on the cutting room floor because I'm not addressing that directly anyway. So, but those two movies came out the same year. What are you doing at home? You're welcome here, but I think that the cultural references, not exactly a reach. I could see Andrew Tate in the movie Two-Headed Shark Attack. Well, you haven't seen Fight Club, apparently. I ruined it for you if you watch the video. I'm sorry. Everything okay?
Yeah. Julian started talking to a girl, and Owen's like, everybody's turned on me. And then he crawled on my lap, cried, and almost fell asleep.
That boy needs more sleep at night.
And then, he was better 45 seconds later.
That boy needs more sleep at night.
I don't know. It was
Yep.
Right. Well, I'll let you do your thing. I love you.
Love you. Scott hasn't seen Fight Club. I feel bad.
Tell him to come over. We'll watch our coffee.
He lives in, Washington State.
Okay. He probably shouldn't make it all in one go then. We'll make popcorn. Popcorn's on us.
You heard that. You come over, we'll watch it. I have the DVD. I can see him in a movie called Dumb and Dumber playing both parts. See, he's not a stupid man, which is part of the problem, actually. I think Andrew Tate's actually a little too smart for all of our own good. Because there's a lot going on in there, clearly, and a stupid man, I don't think would be able to necessarily hold all that together in like a functional package. But like I say, he's almost as old as I am. He's pushing 40. You know, it hasn't totally gone off the rails yet. Although I do this prediction. This is a prediction. I'm just going to say this. If he is serious about the God thing in any way, I fully expect him to, be declaring his own like revelations within the next several years. Okay. Because he's just the type, isn't he? To convince himself that God is talking to him directly. Isn't he just the type? Oh, an ad interruption. Thank you for sitting through the ads. Consider it a donation. Thank you. Thank you. Every little bit helps. And like I say, last week's video didn't go anywhere, you guys. I'm talking 100 views in a week. Ugh. So, every little bit helps. I don't know why the algorithm appears to be punishing me for managing to get monetized, which, that sucks. It is what it is. Like I say, ironically, and then I turned around and did my best work this week, I think. I'm really happy with this video. I changed up the rhythm a little bit. I, played around with the style a little bit. I'm really happy with it. I hope people see it. Thank you guys for watching it. Maybe share it around. I usually don't beg people to share my video for me, but apparently the algorithm may not do that. Like this one so far is doing even worse than last week's did. It's just like, despite the fact that I'm taking a swing at a big target, right? I don't know. I'm doing what I can, But yeah, I do. I fully expect he's the kind of guy who, if he's really serious about this and manages to, really take in a lot of this mystic stuff, because they have a really strong mystical tradition in Islam. I do know that. Tate would say the Matrix is punishing you. Right. Yeah. It was punishing me last week for picking on him in the future. Is that the argument? Is that what we're saying? Because I literally didn't pick this video until a couple of days ago. But I did get most of the editing done on Sunday because I saw this and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And I kind of jumped on that inspiration. Because, like I say, that movie is a modern classic and still so famous. Over 20, I guess it's 25 this year. That movie is still so famous, and culturally relevant 25 years later. Because it touched on a couple of the really big, deep issues that modern life does present to us, all of us. It literally took me until I was in my 20s to figure out there's one woman in the whole fucking movie. Because I was not approaching it like that. Good storytelling is universal. And I think we can all feel some affinity with the frustration of doing everything that we're told to do, doing everything right, and having it not just be meaningless, but like soul-sucking, right? At least if something is meaningless, that's a blank canvas on which to paint, right? Shit. But yeah, I found his repeated references to The Matrix pretty damn funny because The Matrix and Fight Club came out in 1999. They both came out the same year. So again, I do not think the cultural reference is a reach at all. And I think that, shit, if I were, it almost looks like misdirection on his part. And yeah, I hope this week's does better. Excuse me. If I am somehow being punished for something, they're going to have to do better than that, because I'm just going to keep cranking away at it for no money like I've been doing. Yeah. And the joke's really on them, because this is not the main thing I'm doing. Surprisingly, I am writing a novel, which I'm probably going to turn right around after this and get back to that, because it's finally picking up steam. And I wanted to get it done by the summer, and that is not gonna happen. That is not gonna happen. I got caught sleeping over the holidays. I basically focused on the holidays and family, and then we went on a trip, and then we've had one birthday after another, and okay. The Internet Archive has the movie Fight Club in its collection. Someone ripped the Blu-ray and uploaded it. I'll watch it when I have the time. Okay, prepare to be dazzled. No, I mean, seriously though, it's a fun flick. That plot twist about halfway through really gives you a whiplash. But I fucked the one at the end. The one in the middle is the one that got me. I was ready by the time the one at the end came. I was like, whoa, all right, It's a great movie, Scott. You'll love it. Right. I'm so sorry. Like, don't go watch my video again. I give away the ending in my video because it's 25 years old. It didn't occur to me no one had, like, someone in my audience of all places wouldn't have seen it. Like, not like we're so special Fight Club obsessives, but like, I don't know that I feel so special to have found like one of the few people I've never met. I don't know that I've ever met anyone in a long time who said that, who just flat out hadn't seen it. I don't know. Or was willing to admit to such, anyway. I don't know. I wouldn't have seen it if I'd had my brother as a friend of mine and it's just like, oh no, it's great, you gotta watch it. I'm like, all right, fine. So again, credit where credit is due to my friend Jessica. She was the one who insisted I had to actually watch the damn thing in the first place when she rented it from Blockbuster. So I had someone tell me about it, said it was very bizarre. I add a Fight Club to my favorites in the Internet Archive. Okay. I mean, I don't know if bizarre is the word I would use. It's definitely a unique article. That's for sure. Well, it was. Honestly, it's kind of like going back through like famous things with my kids, where I saw something 25, 30 years ago, and so did everybody else who's been around in the intervening time, and like it has become, thrown into the cultural mill. And so there's memes, there's references, there's homages, The Simpsons did it, all that. And I had that same experience myself with stuff like, 2001 and like whatever, where The Simpsons did it. And then I went to watch the original product or stuff like that, where it's like even in the culture and you're like, oh, that's where that's from. There's going to be probably a lot of that in there for you. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could say maybe Andrew Tate is Jack's inflated sense of rejection. Right? No, I don't know. I don't think insecurity is his main driving force, honestly. I really do think that he believes that he can get the control he's after. I do. I think to say that insecurity, and hiding that is Andrew Tate's main driving force would be an insult to him. I do. I think he's a deeper guy than that. I think he's a more evil guy than that. But again, credit where credit is due. I don't think he's just, an insecure Chad. I think he's a lot more dangerous than that. Because insecure Chads just want to be loved, don't they? They just want to feel secure, don't they? I don't think that's what he's after. Do you? Tubi TV has a 2006 sequel, Fight Club members only. I know nothing about that and do not endorse it. I know the book has a sequel, which is also apparently kind of bad. Which, meh. I have not read it. I did read the original. The The ending to the book is different, and I will just say this as far as the ending. Apparently, the author likes the movie ending better. So that's cool. You know, you don't get much better endorsement than that. Although if they change the ending to my book, I will be upset. Oh God. That's what I was talking about. I've just decided I'm just gonna have to keep on like, I've been all about compartmentalization of time lately. You know, I've found some success with that. So like, you know, this day is video day, this day is writing day, this day is shopping day, this day is da 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 da. You know, and sometimes they overlap because obviously life's not perfect like that. But like just to kind of think of it like that, so that on a given day, I know I'm going to be doing this or that. You know. And I think in the summer, I'm just going to have to do the same. And some days are going to be kid days. Where, you know, I'm going to be mom every day, obviously, because they'll be home all summer. But, like, you know, some days I'm just going to put the video shit down. I'm just going to put the book shit down and go do kid stuff all day. 2 or 3 days a week, I think. Just so, you know, then they don't feel so, you know, they don't feel neglected. And, because, like, who the fuck wants to do stuff with mom every day anyway? As a kid. Like, I feel like my mom was not nice, so maybe I'm like the wrong person to like talk about with that. But summer is when I go swim in the Sound. Well, yeah, you live in Washington State, isn't that what everyone does there in the summer? That's like saying in August. That's like saying in France in August we go to the Riviera. I was like, yes, to the coast. Yeah, so I guess in the summer, that's how I'm just gonna have to deal with it. I'm just gonna have to like swallow the fact that I'm not gonna get this monster done by May. I'm not. I'm sorry, you guys. It's just not gonna happen because it's like starting to, just as I'm finally getting my steam back, it's starting to mess with me that like I know I'm not gonna hit that arbitrary deadline I had set for myself, which I did not adhere to anyway, obviously, because it wouldn't have snuck up on me if I had. So I'm just gonna have to work with it, and I cannot hermit myself to finish the damn thing. I can't. On the other hand, the kids are a little older now, and I think if I say to them, okay, these days we're gonna do kid stuff, we're gonna go to the park, we're gonna go to the pool, we're gonna do da 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 shopping, whatever. Okay. And then on these days, y'all gonna hang out, and if you need me, you can come and get me. But you know, between this time and that time, I am working. You know, and that gives them some structure to it, so it doesn't just feel like crazy blob eating mom alive, you know. You know, and writing a novel can take years. I knew that going in. It did. It's just so frustrating because I don't know what to do. It's not that I don't know what I want to do. I do. I know exactly what I want to do. It's the doing it that's hard. And it's not okay. It's not because I don't know how to write. I don't have you know. It's just like the transfer of it from my brain to the page. It's like, I don't know, like pulling teeth right now. Well, it was anyway. It's got better. But yeah. And part of it is it's just been 2 years. It's been 2 years, and I'm kind of ready to not do that for a while anymore. But not till it's done. Not till it's done. Ain't no way in hell I'm gonna actually take a break. Like how? See, that's the thing about it. It's one of those projects where even if I try to take a break, I don't. I end up not taking a break really because like it's still bubbling in the back of my mind. And or I will be just kind of surfing YouTube, and you know, well, that's also where I do my book research. So it'll throw up something, and I'll be like, "Hey!" I'm like, "No, wait a minute!" Like, or I will put on something that I think is unrelated, and then something in that video will turn out to be related, and then I'll be off, you know, off down that again. And it's just like I can't win. I can't. I'm never actually gonna manage to take a break. It's just gonna weigh on my mind. I just got to get it done. And it's not going to be done by May. It's not. I want to see how much of it I can get done before school lets out, though. Like I say, I'm probably going to turn right around when I get off here and get back on that. Which is all just to say that the joke's on them, I guess. Like, I'm pissed off at the algorithm because I need the money. It would be really, really nice if this venture could actually pay off finally. Because I have a lot of other stuff to save up for and do that I want to do. And it would be fantastic if I could, like, oh, I don't know, go and do my location research for the book before I try and have it published. Like, not with the advance from selling it. Like, and yeah, I'm assuming I'm going to sell it, It's got a lot of the say. It's really funny. It's really funny. I don't know if anybody was paying attention to this. Like, at the end of the video, I just kind of let Andrew Tate talk for a good minute without interrupting him, because it was like one of the few things he said that I thought was actually important to hear, which is about how technology is changing and there's nothing we can do about it, and it can be used for good, it can be used for bad, and that's super interesting. How do you prepare for that? That is super interesting, and that's really the big question on everybody's mind right now, right? In various, from about various angles of that. Because it's got to the point it's affecting everyone all the time. These changes affect everyone in some way. Right now it's AI, but it's all, it's always something for the last 20 years at least, if not longer, right? So that this is a preoccupation of just about everybody. Where is the technology going? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? And how do you prepare for that? Which is also one of the big themes of my novel. Is change good or bad, and how do you tell? It was one of the big themes of the book I've been writing for 2 solid years, and that was right at the end of the clip, and I went, there it is. All right, I got to use this one. This is going to be great, Because we're all facing the same conundrums, aren't we? We're all facing the same issues. We all live in the same world. It's that material world I keep talking about, that water hole that we all have to keep returning to. It is in some serious chaos right now, right? It's entirely up to us which way technology goes. Right, but not individually. For most of us, right? It's up to us collectively. And as a collective, we have some pretty serious dysfunctionality going on, okay? But so, yeah, it is up to us, and that's what I'm saying. The fact that a lot of people, I would venture to say most people, are preoccupied to some degree with this question is a good thing. That's a good thing. Even that Andrew Tate is thinking about it is kind of, he's like on the polar opposite. He's on the other side of the world. Literally, metaphorically, metaphysically, in every possible way from yours truly. And the fact that he is worried about the same damn thing I am was just like, I get you, bro. I see you, man. I see you over there trying to grapple with the same damn questions in your own crazy way. Right? And I just thought that was wild. And apparently he's doing it through Tyler Durden, which is unhealthy, at the very least. Which, I don't want to ruin the ending for you, Scott, but I'm going to come back to this point. Suffice it to say, it doesn't go well for Tyler. From a writing perspective, from a storytelling perspective, Tyler is not the hero of the movie. Okay? There's an actual real-life version of Fight Club online called KOTS, Kings of the Streets. Mostly Eastern European men kicking each other's asses. Very bloody. Also, there's more mainstream BKF, bare knuckle fighting, which is insane. Yeah. Well, and you know what? That's not even what I'm objecting to. If a bunch of idiots want to get together and knock the crap out of one another, more power to them, right? Yeah. I can't, as long as it's all consensual, I don't care. Don't make me go. I don't want to go. But y'all have a good time. Keep it to yourselves, obviously. I don't know about being kings of the streets. Y'all can keep it to yourselves. In my opinion. And I'm not, and like, okay, again, I saw this movie when it came out and I was like 14. But let me tell you, I was absolutely with it. Even the first time I watched this movie was like, fuck yeah, I wish I could join a fight club. Like, seriously, that is the effect of the movie, at least the first half of it. And if you don't at least a little bit feel that, and I don't know what to say. That's like, if it doesn't draw you in, then maybe you're not the target audience. But like, you wouldn't think I'd be the target audience. Apparently, this is like, it's become, like a macho standard. There, I do the hand thing again, like a macho standard, right? And it surprised me because, I dipped out of popular culture to like have a baby and whatever. And I came back a few years later to discover that Tyler Durden and Patrick Bateman had become, the heroes of this subculture. And I'm like, wait a minute, I've read both those books. That's not a good idea. That's not a good combination at all. What? Like, that's a very bad sign, you might say. The men in Fight Club were not too hard on the eyes, which helped, right? Right? Like, okay. And this is a tiny, 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 tiny detail that I always seem to latch onto every time I watch that scene, which is that it is Brad Pitt standing next to Jared Leto complaining about how they're never going to be millionaires and movie gods. Motherfucker, y'all each both. What? Like, so it's I have to, take it as the character entirely. I have to sort of like, but then Jared Leto has gone on to such infamy, right? Like, the fact that he was nobody when that came out. Nobody knew who the fuck Jared Leto was, and then he gets the crap kicked out of him and ends up all scarred up, which is funny. But like, the fact that he just happens to be the one standing there, to my mind, is a complete coincidence, and it's very strange. It's one of those little cultural Easter eggs, because of course now he's like a cult leader and some junk. It's kind of, it's mad, and Brad Pitt is Brad Pitt, Mr. A-list Hollywood dude. So, he was a draw at the time. He'd already been in. He was in, oh my God, you want to see Brad Pitt as eye candy? Like, just specifically eye candy? That's Thelma and Louise. Okay? The only reason that man is in that movie is to look pretty. And he does a very good job. It's my favorite thing about that movie. That's a stupid fucking movie. Why did they have Ridley Scott direct Thelma and Louise? Does anyone know that? Like, the guy who directed the Alien movies is the guy they gave Thelma and Louise to. Like, I know that's not all he's done. And a lot of his stuff is not, Geiger sci-fi. But, like, I could not help but feel that when I learned that, I'm like, oh, that's why the feeling is off. That's why it feels weird. That's why it's directed like a Ridley Scott movie. Like, the cinematography is weird. The tone is weird. I don't know. He was eye candy at Thelma and Louise. Right. Ed Norton's more my type. A little rough around the edges. Yeah, right? Right. I absolutely with you on that one. Yeah. But he doesn't really run around with his shirt off a whole lot. But then he's not really that type of guy. I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, from a female perspective, they just got a whole lot of bases covered between the two of them, don't they? I'm like, But I definitely end up going for the nerdy type in real life. That is for sure. But again, I feel like Andrew Tate fell asleep. He must have got drunk and fell asleep and missed the end of the movie. The part where, the final twist reveals that Tyler Durden is not the hero of the fucking movie. Or anything. I don't think saying that reveals too much for anyone who hasn't seen it. But, that ending is kind of important for the thematic, completion of the story. Like, it is representative of, like you say, toxic masculinity. Which is a buzzword. It's a term. I don't know. Like, there's masculinity, right? There's manly stuff. And then there's toxic masculinity that's destructive. Like, I don't understand how this isn't obvious. If it's masculine and destructive, that makes it toxic masculinity. What is toxic femininity is the question I often have heard, sort of flipped at that. And it's like, I don't know. I guess that would be feminine stuff that's destructive. Like, this is not rocket science, okay? What is feminine stuff? And don't come at me with makeup and heels and shit, because that's not us. That's not us. I'm not going to say none of us feel the urge to be pretty. What I'm saying is that it's not directly connected to what actually being a woman is, and drag queens demonstrate that pretty effectively, don't they? So what is feminine stuff? You gonna come at me with being emotionally volatile and manipulative? Right, because men never do those things. That's literally all history books are. Like, it was men being emotionally volatile and manipulative. I'm sorry, but what is feminine stuff? I have literally been pondering this question for years. It's a buried concept. It is it's been hollowed out to the point where we're literally left with like periods and nursing babies and like female stuff. But what is feminine stuff? Don't know. It's weird. Hey, you're back. You had to clean the cat box. Okay. Well, maybe you'll have an opinion on this. What is feminine stuff? Like, I'm not quite sure how I got to this little corner, but I think it's an interesting question. Because it's right. Toxic masculinity is masculinity. My manly stuff, that's destructive, right? It's not rocket science. Is there manly stuff that's not destructive? Sure. Obviously. Or we wouldn't bother to differentiate. But like, so what is toxic femininity? Feminine stuff that's destructive. Which is what? You know, I don't know. I think as a woman, it's easier for me to look at a guy and be like, yeah, that's some doodly stuff right there. I'm just going to leave you to that. I don't understand. Okay. You know, what's feminine stuff varies from woman to woman. Right. But also, no, like, that's what I'm saying, is that this concept, we have a pretty, like, when I say masculinity, people seem to have a pretty good fucking idea about what that is, like, behaviorally. All right. And then when you talk about femininity, people talk about stereotypes and clothes. It's a hollowed out concept that doesn't even mean anything anymore, to the point where I, as a woman, cannot fucking fathom. And maybe it's just that I'm too close to it, you know? It's right in front of me, so I can't see it, maybe? You know, as much as I can look at some dudes and be like, yeah, that's some doodly shit. I'm not interested in that. Y'all have a good time, you know? And sometimes it's simply their approach to, like, my husband and his friend used to like to cook together. And it was just the way they did it, like the vibe they had. It was chill between the two of them, and it just did not sit with me. I don't know. Wasn't my, I don't know. It's not wrong. It's not bad. It's just different, and it's hard to describe. Thank you for sitting through the ads. Feminine stuff is tampons, pads, bras, stuff necessary for the female body. All else is cultural adornment and has no feminine or masculine quality, in my opinion. See, and that was my opinion until I found myself in certain feminine roles unexpectedly, and like literally found myself taking on some of these traits and thought patterns. Okay, and I was not taught them. As you may have heard me say that my mother is the biggest masculine influence in my life. Okay. She's on her 4th divorce right now. She is not Susie Homemaker ever. Never was. And her mother wasn't either. Okay. My grandma was hard pressed to make cookies from a tube. Okay. So where the fuck did this come from? You know, why do I feel like a purebred dog that's all of a sudden been let out in the field for the first time? What is that? You know, aside from weird and scary. So I've had to ask myself, like, it's more complicated than that. My experience, at least, has led me to believe that it's more complicated than that. Motherhood. Yeah, right. But so, not just motherhood, but like also domestic stuff. Like, okay, the best example I can think of is I will walk through a room and notice sometimes where certain things in the room around me are as I pass through, and I will notice somebody's shoes, and I will say to myself, that's where so-and-so's shoes are. So that the next morning or whatever, when I hear, where are my shoes? They are in the blah underneath the because I saw it and I remembered it 12 hours ago. And I didn't teach myself to do this. I used to do it for my boyfriends, like I would see somebody's keys laying. I'd be like, that's where their keys are. And I would just, use clean tube for no ads. A lot of the female villains in the Lifetime thriller movies offer good examples of toxic femininity. Right. See, those are women behaving destructively. Is it any of it necessarily feminine? I'd have to look at it, This is the kind of thing that, like, because being manipulative is not a feminine trait. Is it? No. Being needy to the point of toxicity is not a feminine trait. Men do that too. Men do both of those things plenty just fine. I know men who have the qualities you're referring to as well. Yes. I'm not saying they're specifically feminine, although it does, like, it certainly plays out that way for me. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and go, men never notice anything. Like, that's not what I said. And I don't believe that. I'm willing to bet that some of it is some kind of unconscious conditioning. Okay. But it's just not as simple as it's all cultural. It's all, me telling myself I need to be this way because I don't feel that. I never did. I wasn't raised to believe that. I never knew, that's just not the culture I am from. But I suppose if I were, this might feel like a confirmation of that shit. Okay, which is kind of dangerous and scary, and it's something we need to address. If you are from a conservative culture and you leave it and you go out and you have your own kids and all of a sudden you have these emotions well up within you, it might be really easy to say, oh my God, my mother was right, and go straight back. Some people consider internalized misogyny as a form of toxic femininity. I had not thought of it like that. That's something to noodle on. We could just describe it as personality types, not sex roles. Right, which aside from the fact that every time you measure it, it's a Venn diagram. There are 2 peaks. Every time they measure anything, there are 2 peaks that correspond with the sexes. Like, sometimes they're really shallow, and sometimes the overlap is really massive, But, like, really, I wish that I could just agree with you. I really do. That is what I believed well into my 30s, okay? I don't know. I read somewhere a long time ago that genetics determine more of your behavior the older you get. Like, they play out more. Like, your genetic script is able, like, to unfold more as you age, not less. Which is why, the older you get, the more you're like your parents or whatever. Like, it's not in your imagination. But so, there's a whole lot of questions that I know. I personally have never been able to find any satisfactory answer to, other than, people who want to come down on either hard on one side like you have, or hard on the other side. Of, yep, it's just in you. You're just like, this is literally one of the things I don't know if it was this clip or not, and I cut it out, but I watched several things of Andrew Tate the other day, and he was talking about how women are designed to submit. I have a strange feeling this might be the kernel of truth behind that assertion. In which case, feminism should be looking at this. That's good. You love trans people. That's good. I agree women are more inclined to certain things and men to other things. The data shows that too. They're always outliers. Yes, and outliers are outliers, and they are valid. They are, though. That doesn't make, a butch woman is not a man, etc. And, I was a tomboy. I was an outlier. I still am in a lot of ways. I wish we could just talk about it that way, I'm listening to... I don't know what that is. Is that jazz? For some reason, I want to say that's jazz. I don't know. Okay. I'm not going to try and pronounce it either. Don't underestimate the power of the proliferation of pornography as the reason for this thought process of women are designed to submit. It's so much older than that. Come on. Industrial. Oh, okay. Right on. So not unlike jazz, really. Well, some jazz. Not swing jazz, I guess. But anyway, I'm not going down the musical rabbit hole. I won't come back up before we're supposed to be done. And I don't know how to properly estimate the power of the proliferator. I don't know how to properly estimate the power of pornography. That's quite a tongue twister you've typed out there. I don't know how to properly estimate it. I'm really not involved with it. I do not consume it. I do not really. It's bad. I know that it's like, it's the kind of thing you talk about with the kids and deal with on that level. But I don't really.
Pornography is bad, okay?
Yes, dear. Thank you. 24/7 porn in your pocket is not that old. Of course, the concept is old, but the effect on the brains of men and women from porn is newish. Yeah, true. And it's not helping anything, that's for sure. Excuse me. But it is just another iteration of that same idea. And where does that idea come from? Why have... I don't think internalized misogyny is the only reason feminism struggles to find its footing. Okay? I don't think that all of this is in our heads and we can just wish it away. I don't. One of my friends told me about this album, so I bought the digital version for $5.50. It's 3 hours long. So 3 CDs worth of music? That's 3 LPs, friend. I know I said I wasn't going to go down the music rabbit hole, but this is my area of training, so I can tell you for a fact that even 15 years ago, they could put 4 hours worth of audio on a CD, my man. Okay. But anyway, Jesus, that was more like 17 years ago now. My son is growing up, and I'm getting old. Romance novels have played a big part in a lot of women thinking that they need to submit to men. I never read any of those either. I'm only speaking for myself here, I know. And so that's anecdotal. But again, I was a tomboy, okay? I idolized Iggy Threadgood from not the Breakfast Club, Fried Green Tomatoes. Jesus. Okay, I was out in the woods playing with sticks. Okay. I was not reading romance novels. I was not. I've never been a big intake media all the time person. Music was my only real love, and like I have my earphones in now. It's playing instrumental music because I actually have finally gotten to the point where I just don't need somebody else's voice in my ear all the time. It's that bad, okay? I'd rather live in a Jane Austen world than a BDSM porn fantasy if those are the choices. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Even if it was during the Napoleonic Wars, it's in England, so who cares, right? Good old Regency England. You made me think of the movie Interstellar, where he comes back from Miller's planet and 23 years has gone by and see that his teen son has grown into a man with a family. Yeah. That's the movie you were watching last week, right? I still haven't seen it. Sorry. Yeah. What movies did I watch this week? Oh, none. So, yeah. Same with last week. I'd have to sit here for a minute and try and think what the last movie I was that movie I saw that I actually saw all the way through. So yeah. Hubs and I are watching Northern Exposure at night when we go to sleep. Because we ran out of Good Neighbors. Or The Good Life, whatever it's called. Because there's only 4 seasons of that, and they're short seasons.
Right.
So that's sad. But, man, if their series finale was so good. Very good movie. They strived to be as scientifically plausible as possible. Right. No, you were saying. I've heard good things, I will add it to the list, I will put it in the mental Rolodex as if somebody says, hey, we're going to watch Blood. You want to sit with us? I'll be like, yeah, sure. Until I have to get up and go do something. Yes, I'd much rather read Jane Austen than BDSM material. Right, yeah. Are those our only 2 choices? Because, yeah, I mean, obviously Austen, hands down, but, are those our only 2 choices? Oh. It's almost 3 hours, so wait. Oh, yeah, Interstellar is almost 3 hours. Yeah, man, I'm never going to get to the end of that movie. I don't get to sit through regular length movies anymore. I'd have to make time for it, which, okay. Sometimes hubby and I'll do that together, but that's how it has to go. I have to make time for it. Which space operas? Did I say something about space operas? You know what? You go ahead and clarify that. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I might distract you. Who knows? Well, I want to go outside anyway. Let me think. Let me act like I'm being thoughtful. Stuff's always falling all over everywhere. Let's see. Serenity, my favorite. Oh, yeah. Did you know Firefly and Serenity, great space opera? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Do I know Firefly? It's like husband's favorite. The Fifth Element would probably be a space opera, too. Yeah. Yeah. Like Dune, of course. I mean, I don't know. I suppose you could say space opera is like an extremely popular genre right now, right? You want to look at it like that, just kind of separate it from science fiction and make it like its own subgenre. Then I would have to say it's probably one of the most popular subgenres out there right now, right?
What's that?
Space opera.
I've always liked space operas.
Right, yeah, everybody does. Susie was just saying that Firefly is one of her favorites. Oh. Star Wars would qualify as a space opera. Right, yeah, it really kind of touched off the genre in the popular culture, right? Like, I don't have enough pockets. So sad. Okay, hang on a second.
How am I supposed to seduce you? You keep running away from me.
You're not supposed to seduce me on camera, you fool. Oh. We were just talking about how pornography is bad. You're gonna put bad ideas in the minds of the children, or something.
Oh, very well.
Two married people making out. It's disgusting.
You're just avoiding me because of my mustache.
As if I could avoid. As if I could avoid that mustache. Oh my gosh. I should refill my coffee before you go out there, but I don't want to.
You need a hand with anything?
Nah, I got it. Doggy wants to come with us. I was kind of joking with you, always telling us you are watching General Hospital and Sci-Fi. I was going to say soap operas, but no. Thank you. It's my Lydia Dietz hat. The movie Jupiter Ascending was probably a space opera too. They had a lot of opera music in the background. Oh, that's a bit on the nose, isn't it? So yeah, there's our lovely view. And I'm in the dark, so that's fun. We should probably just go sit down, right? That was those Matrix, dude, and also Cloud Atlas is really good and made by them too, the two brothers who trans themselves into sisters. Thank you for sitting through the ads. It's just consider it a donation to the channel because I really, really, really appreciate it. Every little bit helps. It's not promoting my videos lately. It's like I'm being punished for getting monetized, which is stupid. There we go. Right, yeah, and I was thinking about that earlier too, as far as Andrew Tate and The Matrix and how much he obviously loves that movie. How does he feel about the Wachowski sisters? I'm guessing he's not a fan of Thank you, yeah, isn't it? We lucked out today, you guys. I gotta go get my cigarettes. Hang on. Oh. Enjoy the video. I'll be right back. That was kind of funny. The cat came outside, the dog chased her right back in. Oh, yeah. It's very sunny here. Whew. Yes. But yeah, I mean, obviously he's decided to run with the Matrix, metaphor anyway. Despite the fact, that the people who wrote and directed it, I guess, are trans women now. And that's not exactly on brand for Andrew Tate, but I guess he's disregarding that. Death of the artist and whatever, I guess. I don't know. Personally, I thought that movie was overrated anyway. But all style and no substance. The Matrix was all style and no substance for me. But then again, I probably saw that one a couple years after it came out. And the hype was so unbelievable. It was never going to live up to that. There was no way any movie was going to live up to that. The sun looks so much brighter in Tennessee than in Washington. You're way down south from where we are. We're in the same latitude as North Dakota. Right. It is. It's brighter here. It is. It's warmer here, too. Like, it's really kind of strange. On a sunny day, it'll be wicked warm until you step in the shade, and then you lose like 10 degrees. You're like, oh, shit. Oh. But yeah, I would love feedback on this week's video, not just the subject matter, but like I switched up stylistically a little bit too. Like I hope people actually see it. I really do feel like it's some of my best work. Both the inspiration, the content, and the way I put it together. I think it's some of the best stuff I've done. So hopefully some people get to see it. That's really the frustrating thing. I saw The Matrix when it first came out in theaters in March 1999. What did you feel about it? It's like I guess you were a little older because you also said you saw Star Wars when it came out. So, maybe that wasn't quite the core memory for you that it was for a lot of people my age. The Matrix, I mean. Like it apparently was for Andrew Tate. He is about 6 months older than my little sister. Just to put things into context for you. So, I have a pretty good idea of at least, from the Western end, what a lot of his cultural touchstones probably are. And I'm sorry, but the Fight Club reference is so obvious. He's literally Tyler Durden. To the point where loved it, loved Trinity. She was totally badass. Well, yeah. Which is nice. I'm not saying it's not a good action flick. It's not great sci-fi. How about that? I'm going to talk about subdividing genres. If you look at The Matrix as an action flick, okay, yeah. As a sci-fi, But again, we're talking on the level of space opera. Most famous sci-fi is like along those lines, or like, like your horror, like your Alien, like your, it's got more substance to, I don't know. It just, honestly, it's been a long time. I'd have to go back and watch it again to really articulate why it left me flat. It may have just been that I was a snarky 16-year-old and I knew I was supposed to like it, so I didn't. I don't know. It was a sci-fi computer fantasy. Well, right, yeah. But so a bit of a personal question. How old were you when that came out? In 99. How old were you? Oh, my nose is just terrible. You know what? Speaking of stuff, why am I sitting over here? I should take you guys over there and show you what I did in the garden. Of course. You were 40. Right, yeah. So you loved it, but you didn't love it like a 13-year-old loves anything. You know what I mean? Come on. We'll go over here and I'll show you what I did in the garden because I'm a little proud of it. I finally got around to pruning this poor apple tree. Okay. We have our lovely sitting area here. Okay. And the branch that's holding up the roof, if you can see that. We got some lights on it there. With the wall around it, you see that? And I neatened up the wall, but what I'm really excited about is the path. See? I neatened up the path, scraped up all that mulch and got all the weeds and the extra strawberries that grew out of the strawberry patch, which is right, whoops, behind me. And you see the bricks hanging from the tree to weigh down the branches at the certain angle because I was looking into, how do you actually prune? Like, what do you do? How do you actually take care of fruit trees? Because I have 2 of them now. You see the little one in the background here. We'll go say hi to the peach tree because she's not blooming so much anymore. You can't see her so well. There's Peachy. Okay. And, yeah. I raked all last year's junk out of the strawberry patch, so hopefully we'll get some more berries out of that. Ooh. So that was my day the other day. Oh my gosh, I needed it so bad. I needed it almost as much as the plants did, I swear. I gotta find a place to put this thing. So yeah, there is no spoon. Saw it in theaters too, and the next day I went on a roller coaster for the first and last time in my life, and I was so afraid. I kept saying, "Let her make it. It's not a spoon. Mind over matter." Right. All 3 Matrix movies were filmed in Sydney, primarily. Australia, primarily Sydney. Right on. Are they Australian? The Wachowskis? I really don't know that much about them because, again, it was never really my thing. But, like, in our house, every time anybody comes along with "there is no spoon," we say, "Yeah, there is no spoon, only Zool." Because we're weirdos. So that, like, automatically, when I hear "there is no spoon," I say there is. I automatically get "there's only Zool." Okay. There we go. Mm. There we go. Hold that wind back a little bit, but boy, it's giving it a run for its money already. Keanu Reeves is American. Yeah, no, I know. He's like Hawaiian, though, right? I know Hugo Weaving and Keanu Reeves are Australian, right? So is the woman in the red dress. Okay, I don't remember who that is. Somebody in the movie, I'm guessing. I don't know. Oh, that makes me so happy to see myself in my spot. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is been no joke though. This thing's taking work. This is year 4, I think. out here, just kind of poking at it every year, a little bit every year. I got something coming back here. I don't actually remember what this is. So we're going to get to find that out. That'll be fun. This is a floral bush that is worse for wear because I moved these blocks and kind of set them along here. And it was, and it's got ivy coming up all over it. I'm going to have to fix that. It's going to choke it out. And goodness knows, English ivy does not need any help. It's an invasive species. Did you know that? Fiona Johnson was the woman in the red dress. Okay. No, but I mean, I don't remember who that is, like, in the context of the film. It's been a really long time since I've seen The Matrix. Like I say, I'd have to go back and watch it again to really give you any detail as to why it left me flat upon initial viewing. I don't really remember. Yeah, you first saw my videos out here, right? I am looking forward to filming out here again. It's just been cold. We've had a couple of really nice Wednesdays where I could come out here with the. I have a lot of English ivy in our backyard. Yeah, I bet you did. It's an invasive species, apparently. I didn't know that, but yeah. So if you do have the English ivy, it's gonna just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And you're going to probably have to prune that back yourself or it will just take over your yard. Yep. So I'm going to have to pull up this ivy here. But don't worry. Look over here. Like, we got the ivy. You see what I mean? Like, we got plenty of ivy. Don't worry about the ivy. The ivy's going to be fine. I have a lot of coconut trees and hermit crabs. Oh, right. Well, yeah, I suppose the English ivy is probably not invasive down there in the Bahamas, is it? No, probably not. Probably not the climate for it. But let me tell you, it thrives up here. Girl, it gets onto everything. We actually have both holly and ivy on our property. Yeah, we have holly bushes too. There's one actually. Oh, you can't see it from here. There's stuff in the way. But there's one at this corner, which is really just a sprig because I think somebody cut it down a long time ago and it just keeps on trying to come back. And the reason that I think that is because there's a big one at the other end. At the other corner of the house, there's a big one. We have no coconut trees in Washington State. You don't say. What? Washington State doesn't have palm trees? Why not? Oh, man. Have you ever driven down to Florida? Let me tell you. The Florida Department of somebody is in charge of that, or on top of that. Like, the minute you cross the Florida state lines, palm trees every fucking where. Like, you know when you're in Florida. We don't have any coconut trees here in Tennessee either, though. But peach and apple trees, I do expect, like, I don't think the peach tree is going to fruit out this year. Because this is only its second year. But the apple tree is like 3 years old. Maybe 4. So I pruned it a little bit. And I've got the branches nice and bowed. So I'm hoping we have cycads, which look like palm trees, but aren't. I wonder if that's what I've seen here. Because I've noticed there are some people here in Tennessee that have like big palms like planted in their yard. And I'm not sure how they get away with that because it does get cold here in the winter. Not like up north, but it's not like the tropics either. Winter does happen here. So I saw a lot of coconut trees over in the Philippines. Yeah, I bet you did. That's tropical area, right? Or at the very least, subtropical, like Florida. One of our cellular towers is designed to look like a massive palm tree. Seen that in Florida and Cali, too. See, that's actually kind of nice. I like that. When architecture takes into account the land, the surrounding area. Isn't that nice? I know that, like, here in Tennessee, they don't do that. And, like, my son, actually, this morning on the way to his school was just pointing out to me, all the power lines, they're just strung along the side of the freeway. And I'm just like, Do they not care if this infrastructure is completely impermanent and unmaintainable? Like, what is this? Yes, I saw a lot of palm trees in Florida. Right. But it's like cycads can cope with cold, unlike palm trees. Right. So I need to look that up. I wonder if that's what I've been seeing around here instead of palm trees. That would make more sense. But it's not just there are a lot of palm trees in Florida. It's that I think obviously they know that they are known for that. So like if you drive down there, the minute you cross the state line, all of a sudden there are palm trees everywhere. Whereas in Georgia, not so much, It's like and I remember noticing that when you're driving down there. I went to school down there, so I made the trip several times. I just remember noticing that going, that's kind of funny. I see you guys. That's kind of funny. In South Thailand, you'll see a lot of rubber trees. No, I won't, because I don't know what they look like, and man, like, no offense to Thailand, but it is low on my personal bucket list of vacation destinations. You know what I mean? It's, yeah. I'll trade you 100 coconut trees for one of those huge redwoods any day. Yeah, they're gorgeous, right? Oh my God, I just happened to I think my husband was watching something, and I just happened to overhear something about the number of trees in California that they cut down. 100, 150 years ago, whenever it was. It's devastating. Like the size of the redwood forest now is so incredibly, so much more, so much smaller than it was. This is just like, yes, tree is thousands of years old. Whatever, follow them. We need the timber. Oh my God. We don't have redwoods here in Washington State either. Too cold for them here, but we do have some transplanted giant sequoias. Nice. I think that's what I was talking about. We don't, sorry. I need to brush up on my trees. It's funny, the stuff that you think you'll never forget, right? The stuff you think you'll never forget, and then you go for it one day and it's just gone. You're like, oh shit. Take it for granted, I guess. I don't know. Yes, I do have library books coming due too. We have huge banyans here. Huge poinciana, jacaranda, other huge flowering trees. Very pretty rubber trees. Awesome. Flowering trees are just the best, aren't they? We have, it's dogwood season here, so yeah, we got flowering trees all over too. I visited Colonel Armstrong Redwood near Sebastopol. It's about 310 feet tall. Also been to the Muir Woods. This is the part where I have to admit I don't know what either of those two things is. Washington State has firs, spruces that are over 200 feet tall. It's amazing, How old are they? That's the thing that always amazes me. And so it's the huge trees are hundreds, if not thousands of years old. Google poinciana tree. Okay. Nice. And they just grow right up out of the sand like that? That's pretty amazing. Muir Woods is in Marin County. Okay, that's in California, right? Redwoods can be thousands of years old. Right. And that's what's amazing to me. It's like, yeah, they're huge and everything, but so is the Empire State Building. They're ancient and they're alive. Like, how many other things can you say that about? That's what really gets me going. You can find all kind of ancient shit. It's all ruins. Dead stuff. No, not those things. It's just so cool. Just so cool. To look at a living individual that's been around that long, even if it is a tree. I'd love to meet one day. I may not come across as a tree hugger sometimes, but yeah. But, and it's like what I was saying earlier about how I never, ever, ever would have expected myself to find myself in a domestic situation, much less to be happy in one. So, I discovered some strange things about myself that I would not have guessed at 20 for all the world. And so I just can't assume the same. Like, I can't assume my lifestyle choices would work for everybody because I wouldn't have assumed they'd work for me. Right? We have a Sitka spruce over in the Hoh River Valley that's 270 feet tall. Nice. How old is it? I need to visit those redwood trees. They're calling to me. Right. Same, girl. Oh my gosh. Oh, but like I say, before I go anywhere, I got to go to England. Which is where I got to finish this book, okay? Because it's like I can't do anything else until I do. Like, I have to. Oh. I need to, on the one hand, I say I need to find some other novelists to hang out with because I need someone who understands. But then at the same time, I guess that's can be toxic and scary and weird. Because sometimes other writers are the worst people to talk to because either it makes you doubt your own process or they get jealous and weird or I don't know, artists, right? Go to Redwood National Park up near Crescent City. That's what they filmed, where they filmed the scooter chase scenes in Return of the Jedi. A ringing endorsement if I ever heard one. But that means we've all seen it already, right? That's the one place you could go around in a Wookiee costume and not be mistaken for Bigfoot. Right? Maybe? The one woodland. You could go around in a Wookiee costume and not be mistaken for Bigfoot. I don't know, you guys. You remember that Bigfoot sighting that was the recent one, where it was on the side of the mountain in California, and these people were riding a train, a tourist train. I want to say it was in California. That's what that looked like to me. Somebody said it looked like a brown, a desert ghillie suit, and I'm like, okay, but it also kind of looks like a Wookiee costume, Battle of Endor was filmed in Redwood National Park too. Right on. Listen, now you made me think of that. I wonder if that's why I make the connection. Because I don't always see Bigfoot. Sometimes I literally just see a Wookiee in the Bigfoot captures. I'm like, that looks like a Wookiee though. And I know that it's not that either, but it could totally be a guy in a Wookiee costume. Yes. I think that happens. I actually do think that happens. And you want to know why I think that happens? The clown craze of 2016. That's why I think that happens. Because it does. Okay. People put on costumes to fuck with other people. It happens. Yes, people here in the Northwest strongly believe in the Sasquatch. We have more sightings here than anywhere else. You know what? And I'm not even going to say there's no such thing. I'm not even going to say I don't, I don't super care. If Bigfoot's real, great. That's cool. If not, that's disappointing, but it wouldn't be the first time. I'm pretty sure the Loch Ness Monster is not real either. They've basically definitively proven that. By doing DNA analysis of the water. So, which is so granular and weird. I'm like, I can't believe you guys were driven, You people were driven to do that just to prove to people there's not a monster in this law. Okay, whatever. So maybe there is Sasquatch, but I'm just saying, I think the other thing also happens. I do. I think sometimes, I don't know. I like to watch like the spooky videos, like ghost sightings and whatever. And sometimes like they're so bad. They're so bad. I just have to laugh. I'm like, come on. That was, or like then there was a guy who was exploring an abandoned house, and I'm pretty sure like this abandoned house is full of junk, and he must have been, pretty amped up when he walked in there because it's spooky, and who wouldn't be? And he's there by himself and whatever. But like he came around the corner and saw what for all the world looked like a Halloween mask or like a Chinese theater mask. I was like, and ran away. I'm like, that was not a ghost sighting. That was not an anything sighting other than that guy's like, he was ready to jump. It was pretty funny. Yeah, I've been to Loch Ness too. Of course you have. I was looking for Nessie. They said that she was very hungry that day. Ooh, I bet they did. Like, more power to them. It's rural Scotland. What? I'm going to, be angry at them for trying to get that tourist money? Come on, no. The mind can play tricks on itself and see any manner of things. It's not, yeah. I mean, okay. And just to get down to that for a second, like, where does all your perception happen anyway? Right? Like, the idea that, your perception is just so flawed anyway. And, we don't like to think about that, but, it is, and I've said this before about color, because it's probably my favorite example is, you look at something that's green and it's actually every color but green, right? It's just reflecting the green back at you. Oh dear. Thank you for sitting through the ads. That should be the last one we get. I'd put it on like a moderate insertion, so we should only get like a couple every hour. But the mind playing tricks on itself. Yeah. Like, there's been some argument made that's all perception is. And, scientifically, it's possible to make that argument. Personally, I think that's a little oversimplified, because nobody can really quantify what the fuck consciousness is. So to just toss it out and consider it unimportant because it doesn't fit into your equation is infantile. So, any conclusions you draw from that, to my mind, are probably not worth a whole lot. But the argument has been made that all perception is just your mind playing tricks on itself. So, because it all happens in the brain anyway, which is a very complicated machine and has so many moving parts, it's just so easy to get one of them out of whack, and that messes with your perception. Like the material, like the hardware you're running your software on is tilted. So no matter what you do, right? I'm up to track 18 or 34. Right on. I don't think we're going to make it all the way to the end because we got about 20 minutes left. And like I said, gosh, my nose itches. Ugh. And like I say, I want to get off of here at 2 o'clock and probably dip into my book or get some laundry folded. Depending. I don't know. I might just fold the laundry because, I don't know. Here's the conundrum. Like, it takes, it's so absorbing. Like, I don't want to sit down with like 45 minutes to work on it and go, okay, I'm going to be totally absorbed for 45 minutes. Like, that's not realistic. But then at the same time, if I wait until I wait until I have, a chunk of time to devote to it, then I only get maybe once a week really to work on it. Lunch is an hour away. Right on. People see what they want to see. Yeah, well, I think a lot of times it's what people see what they expect to see, because a lot of it is, projection. just a lot of perception is projection anyway, because, you know, that's how you understand stuff, by projecting your own framework onto whatever you're looking at. So I think it's more like people see what they expect to see, and a lot of times they expect what they want, right? Just to add another step of meta in there. Because why wouldn't you expect what you want? Lunch is an hour away. I don't know. We usually get like breakfast around here. I usually don't get breakfast until 10:30. Yes, it's about perception, not reality. This becomes all too clear in courtroom trials, right? Right? That stuff gets trippy sometimes. Or the famous story. Oh, doggone it. There's the famous Japanese story where, you know, it's all the different perspectives of, and you as the audience are left to sort of figure out what happened. You know, it's a very, I cannot remember the name of that movie, but it's famous in storytelling circles. And like, I've been reading too much of this stuff. Like I say, we've been watching Northern Exposure, falling asleep, and like, I don't know, 30-year-old TV kind of feels like 30-year-old TV sometimes, and like, some of the dialogue in the last episode, like the two ladies step out of the carriage and literally like address one another by name. You know, I forget their names, but it's like, gosh, Mildred, I sure hope we like it here. Don't worry, Jane. If we don't, we'll get right back in that car and leave. And it's like, who talks like that? No one. That's one of the big rules. They say, you know, for realistic dialogue, is don't have your characters address one another by name unless they, you know, unless absolutely necessary, because who does that? No one talks like that. Lawyers really know how to manipulate reality. Yes. I guess Thanos did with the reality stone. Hey, sorry I missed the live. I did listen to the video and I have so many thoughts. Oh my god! You haven't totally missed the live. I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, did you notice I changed the style up a little bit? Like, I'm experimenting. Oh, yeah, you have a good week too. Like, you know, leave me a comment. You can always do that. I always appreciate the thoughts. Our upstairs Panasonic TV is 25 years old. It's the same age as Fight Club. And The Matrix. Yeah, they both came out the same year. So you have a good week too. I'm sorry to miss you. Right, yeah, philological. Did you finish your dissertation? Your thesis? Your thing? I don't know. That's probably what's keeping them from. It still works just fine, and so does the built-in VCR. Yeah. What do you use it for? Do 30-year-old tapes still play? See, that was always you know, with magnetic media, that's always the question, is they usually don't age super well. Because they're very delicate, you know. And like, even if you just leave it in the box and never touch it, the magnetic field degrades over time. So eventually you're just going to have a blank tape sitting in a closet. Stupid hat. Yeah, lawyers know how to manipulate reality. Yeah. A good lawyer can, absolutely. Yeah. They're like wizards, you know. They weave a magic spell with their words and like can change people's, yeah. Or like con artists, you know. Which, you know, again, brings me back to the question of I still have VHS movies, like Looking for Mr. Goodbar and Airport. All my VHS movies still play. Well, that's good. I still have some VHS tapes I just can't throw away because can't replace some of the DVDs. Got to get them transferred. Yeah, right. Same. A couple of them are from the camcorder, so yeah, definitely can't replace those. But yeah, as far as Andrew Tate, converting to Islam, does he still have his personal wizard then? It's like sorcery is haram, I want to say. Like they have a strong mystical tradition in Islam, but you're not allowed to practice witchcraft, So, did he fire that? What's his name? Oh, that guy had a funny name. Nisselbaum or something. Did he fire that guy? If so, isn't he, risking incurring his wrath? Wait a minute. There's a line from a movie about that. Beware of incurring a wizard's wrath. Right? I also have Firestarter on VHS. Right on. There's a good movie. And I bet you like that song, too, if you like industrial, right? Are you a Prodigy fan? I thought Tate's father was a Muslim, and he was raised in that religion, but I guess he just has that vibe anyway, if you know what I mean. Oh, he definitely does. It does not surprise me that he would choose that one. If he were going to choose one, that's exactly up his alley, isn't it? Yeah, he was all about controlling women. Like, duh. Which is exactly his bag. That's how he made his name and his money. My understanding is that he used to be a Christian. I was going to look further into that. I may, in the future, look further into that. I kind of don't care. I'm not trying to do like an in-depth personal profile of the man. I just don't care that much. Drew Barrymore burnt everything down like her dad told her to. Oh my God. I guess you could characterize that film that way. She's a little girl, though, to be fair. I mean, that's funny. Didn't we already say something about Stephen King in this one? Anyway, I think my mind is wandering already. Even though we're 12 minutes out, we got 12 more minutes, you guys. Topics for next week's video suggestions. Anything you guys, is burning on your mind? Anything in the zeitgeist? Here's one. The other thing I was thinking, Pretty Bird song. Oh yeah, it is. It is a gorgeous day here. I wish you guys could sit out here with me. It's really, we could have some drinks or something. I don't know. It's a beautiful day. But the other thing I was looking at is, of course, Dylan Mulvaney puts out that stupid song. But it's more than a stupid song. It's like got that hypnotic pop thing going, right? Where it like gets stuck in your brain and it's like like an earworm. But like it's also blatantly lying to you, like repeating these are the days of girlhood over and over and over again. Meanwhile, dancing in front of the camera, being a fully grown man. It's so bizarre. Like it's so weird. Too cool and overcast here to sit outside. Yeah, right. It usually has been. Today we lucked out because it's still early in the season here, even for the South. But like there wasn't really more to it than that. And once I got to look at what Andrew Tate was up to, I was like, yeah, Dylan Mulvaney is a shiny distraction compared to this shit. So, and I'm so glad that I did, because guess who put out a video on Dylan Mulvaney's song like last night? Buck Angel did. And I'm like, oh, I knew that was the right way to go. I knew I didn't want to do that. Oh, I was so angry that song was in my head after 2 times. Right. I could still hear it. It's very sticky. It's very You know, so as you've got his voice in your head repeating that phrase, it's bizarre. Right? That's you know, and God forbid you're susceptible to stuff like that. You sticky, right here. But so I really didn't have a whole lot to add to that, and it's mostly shallow, and it's mostly just, oh my gosh, look at this bizarre wackiness, like mind-bending fuckery. Song was probably written by AI. At least it wasn't written by Lou Pearlman. All right. That was like the one good thing I could think of about it. Is it probably wasn't written by Lou Pearlman. Who, in case anybody doesn't know, is the guy who wrote songs for like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and all that shit. He wrote Hit Me Baby One More Time. So there you go. But I don't think he wrote this one. And I'm so glad. I was like, yeah, I just kind of went with my gut on that one. I'm like, nah, I'm going to look for something else. And like I say, it was actually a wisecrack video. Was complaining about Jordan Peterson and how he's using Christianity to just legitimize his own brand of reactionary conservatism. And I thought, well, yeah, what the fuck do you think any of the rest of them are doing? And I thought, well, surely I can find a more relevant example of this. And boy, did I, right? And I'm so glad that I went a different way this week than with the Dylan Mulvaney thing, because Buck Angel put out a video about Dylan Mulvaney's song last night. I saw that this morning and I went, yep. I knew that was the wrong way to go for me. I knew that wasn't what I wanted to be talking about this week. So, yeah. Bullet dodged on that one, I guess. Because, of course, Buck put out a video about it. He's pissed. Jesus Christ. She's pissed. I'm tired, y'all. I know who we're talking about. I don't want to call her Susan, though. Like, Brittany, Slightly Twisted, like, calls her Susan, and, like, I don't know. People can choose a name. Like, that's not controversial to me. You want to, maybe it's because I come from the pagan community and like having a craft name is just pretty fucking standard. So, like, you have a second name you prefer to go by. Okay, whatever. Like, that's not a big deal to me. It doesn't make you a man, though. Is the thing. So, she is probably really pissed off at Dylan Mulvaney right now. Yeah. I don't feel the need to go over there and listen to that whiny fuckery. Because how crazy do you have to be to try and protect the trans community and the gay community at the same time? How? Oh. That's bad shit. That's like herding the sheep and the wolves in a cave together to protect them from the rain. It's like, no, that's not going to go well. If Brittany's claims about Buck's sexual crimes against children are true, Buck needs to be arrested and sent to prison. Yeah, I know. I see no reason to doubt that, unfortunately, but I also have not looked at the evidence. The thing is, I'm not sure how that person could possibly be any more odious from my personal perspective. You know, that would just be blue on black, shockingly, like, as horrible as that is. It would just be more of the same, right? More of the same. Like, how do I even characterize the level to which that person has degraded themselves? I'm not even sure which word to choose, you know? And then they spread it around like it's some sort of liberating lifestyle, and and she literally says that she and Blair White are all about the kids. I'm like, okay, I don't need to hear anymore. What the fuck? Unless you're a teacher, you should not be all about the kids. Brittany has. I think she needs to give it to the FBI. Okay. Well, and maybe this is my own selfish, like, my hearing about it isn't going to help anything. My knowledge about it isn't going to fucking help anything. Right? Like, I could have an encyclopedic knowledge and be able to rattle off bullet points, the details to you of all the horrible, of all everything the Buck Angel's ever done. It wouldn't help anything. So, not only would it upset the shit out of me, it wouldn't help anything. And so, I don't know. I feel like I would be laming myself and throwing my energy down a black hole. Does that make any sense? That's why I don't look into stuff like that. And I admire people like Brittany who do. And I support people like Brittany who do. More power, Godspeed to them. Okay, because I'm not that person. I feel like it's just so much more a better use of my time and energy to do the stuff that I do. But she seems to have actual evidence. Yeah. Okay, in that case, yeah, she should definitely go to the authorities. That would be the next thing to do. If you have evidence of a crime, you should take it to the authorities. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that people are looking into that kind of thing, because apparently it needs doing. I haven't, and those are my reasons for not doing so. Because it's just like a black hole sucked of my energy and time. That shit. I can't. There's nothing I can't. What I'm gonna take shit to the authorities was what. What. I don't know. At this point, she literally has Buck on camera talking about how she's a vile person who needs to be taken out. I've seen circumstances where that alone was a legal case. Okay, so Buck has some skeletons in her closet for sure, besides the whole Matrix connection, which is wild enough. We're back to the Matrix again? How did that happen? Okay. Really quick, can you summarize that? And then we gotta go. Because it's 2:00. Because now I'm curious. Like, very few people have Brittany's level of personal and ethical integrity. Hey. I think I have integrity. I just explained to you that why I don't do what she does, and I support her doing what she does. No, I'm sure you don't mean anything against me. Like, that would just be weird. We're buddies. But, like, that's true. Very few people have, I don't know. I think a lot of people are apathetic and unaccustomed to holding themselves to much of a standard. It's like a muscle. Integrity is like a muscle, I think, And you can exercise it and become better at that. But, I don't know. The world's in such a state. I admire her. And I admire her for her abrasiveness, quite frankly, because sometimes it's necessary. She's East Coast warrior and you're mid-American stability. Okay. I'll take that. Buck's ex-wife was a dominatrix, had a dungeon that the Matrix guy visited and was into BDSM, and bang, he decided he was a woman, and now he's married to Buck's ex-wife. Wow. Okay. Thank you for the summary. That's a lot. Wow. Yes, I did finish my dissertation, just editing from here on out. Oh, congratulations! Congratulations. The hard part's done, huh? Yes. It's awesome. That's taking a lot, but still the main writing is done. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, editing is no joke either, but the core of it is there. And that's like, climbing a peak for sure. That's awesome. Congrats. And now it's time to go, unfortunately. But, whenever you have the minute, I would love to comment. You can put your thoughts in a comment under the video. I would just love that. It seems you're probably one of the few who's going to actually watch it. The algorithm is, apparently punishing me for attaining monetization, which is weird. Because all of a sudden it's not picking anything up. Oh, well. Thanks, y'all. Hopefully in a month and a bit, I'll be able to tell you that it's submitted. Yeah. Good luck. And until next week, you guys. I'll see you then.